expressed in this program by the host or guests do not state or reflect those of the company, its management, sponsors, or any entities they represent.
Oh, it's lit. We prime time. Subscribe, like, and share. Give us your feedback. Yo, I'm Manny at the plate and Kobe off a steal. Gretzky for the goal and Brady at the wheel. I'm a game changer, the Osaka of the tennis, and breaking scoreboards. Simone of the Olympics, defense and big business. The Mayweather who way better. From the greatness of Jim Brown, I've been down. Talking sports before I was off the porch. Screaming Bo knows while Jordan was playing horse. Late 80s getting torched by the drive and the shot. 2016 got a ring off the three in the block. They eased to forgot the cardiac kids. Price and Doherty, Bale in the Indian years. This who it is. Your host DeeTrynt, yo, that's a name banger. Come in the streets and talk sports with the game changer. Yo, your host DeeTrynt, that's a name banger. Come in the streets and talk sports with the game changer.
DeeTrynt, Game Changer Sports Talk, InDaStreetzSportz. Man, what's really, really good, y'all? Alright, it's a nice, soft Saturday. You feel me? Middle of the day if you're on the East Coast. You feel me? What's popping with y'all? How y'all feeling? We in that little dead zone period, right? Where it's like the basketball off season has died down. The football off season is coming towards the end. The playoff, the MLB is going like towards the playoffs. Towards the All-Star game. And the NHL off season kind of just start heating up. So this month would be July. That is the month. That is the month usually where it's like a dead zone. Ain't really much to talk about unless there's something interesting going on type of thing. But it gives us a time to reflect and give projections for the future, right? So, the hottest topic of the all season has been the Cleveland Browns and their quarterback situation. Now, we've got half a resolution, and we'll have even more of a solution or resolution of things in the next week. But we are about to start training camp. And I believe the rookies are on their way in first. How I usually go, the rookies come in and training camp first. Then several days later, you see all the vets show up. And then training camp goes on for about 2-3 weeks, at least about 10 days, 10, 14 days, until you get to the first preseason games. Now, once again, if you're not familiar, preseason is only 3 games long. All right, you get your 3 preseason games, then there's a 2-week layoff until the start of the first regular season game. So this is going to be interesting for the Browns because we want to see what our rookies going to do. All right, first and foremost, all right, we came into this season, all right, and we were a quarterback and a kicker. A quarterback, a kicker, and any type of return game away from 12 wins, 13 wins last year. We only went 8-9, sub 500. But that did mark like the 4th consecutive year in a row the Browns won at least 8 games. So that is a benchmark in itself for those who didn't witness the 80s run. The Browns winning at least half the games in consecutive seasons, that's a good building point. And going into the end of the season, the defense looked good. The offense looked like we knew what it needed, but the special teams was non-existent. Now, for our preseason schedule, let's talk about a preseason schedule. First game of the preseason is August 12th in Jacksonville. Let me make sure I'm reading this right. Yes, in Jacksonville at 7 p.m. Then the last 2 preseason games As it seems, the Browns have a 9-day hiatus in between playing Jacksonville to kick off their preseason, and then coming home to Cleveland to play Philadelphia on August 21st. And then they'll only have 6 days in between playing Philly and then playing Chicago for their last preseason game. So that's interesting. That's interesting because you know what, we circle a block on who might play and how long they might play in each game. We'll circle the block back on that topic, all right? But these rookies, man, the Browns got some good rookies, bro. Let's revisit this. Look, let's revisit the Browns draft picks. From the 2022 NFL draft. Hold on, y'all. Let me bring this up right quick. Give me a couple seconds. Oh, hit the link. You know what I'm saying? If you're just now hitting this, if you're hitting this from a different social media platform, DeeTrynt, Game Changer Sports Talk, InDaStreetzSportz. You know what I'm saying? Make sure y'all like, shop, like, subscribe, share, and follow. All right. So we didn't draft Tyreek Smith. I don't remember us doing that. Let's get this popping. Okay, I was about to say we didn't draft him. So our draft picks, the number one draft pick for us this year, who came in the third round. Martin Emerson, cornerback, Mississippi State. 78th pick in the same third round. Alex Wright, edge rusher from UAB. And then also a third round pick, wide receiver David Bell from Purdue. Now, these three players are in interesting positions. Okay? Martin Emerson comes into a loaded defensive back room already. And it'll be interesting to see how he matches up against, a Greg Newsome who was just picked last year, a Greedy Williams who's been here for quite a while, AJ Green, a guy who went undrafted and worked his way up into the rotation. It'll be interesting to see if Martin Emerson actually will play a little safety. I think he has a little safety in his game. Me personally, a little free safety. But we'll see how that works. Alex Wright is another interesting pick that we have because Alex Wright reminds me a lot of Emmanuel Ogbah. If he could be that type of player in rotation with what we have, that'll be amazing. Okay, I mean you saying you got Jadeveon and Miles, and then you can rotate in an Ogbah-like player. Oh man, that sounds like heaven on earth. Okay, and that's just add to the versatility for what we'll be able to use in this defensive line. Now, I don't think he's going to compete for a Spartan spot, but I think he's there to learn behind Jadeveon Clowney, whether that be this year, the next 2 years, or, it will just depend. But he'll become a big part of the rotation as long as his gameplay matches. So we're in for a treat with that one. We're also in for a treat with wide receiver David Bell out of Purdue. David Bell was considered the best wide receiver in a Big Ten that had Chris Olave and Garrett Wilson. Okay. But he is a Cleveland Brown. And there are high hopes for David Bell. There's a lot of confidence in his ability when it comes to the fan base and what it sounds like from the organization as well. David Bell is going to be a very, very, very special player. We'll just see, how long it's going to take him and Deshaun Watson to get that chemistry going. But that's I'm looking forward to that. And another player we're gonna get to as I go down this list. All right, so we also drafted at the top of the 4th round, which is probably my highly most anticipated pick. And I'm so high on this guy that I've been having to step back from really mentioning him because, what he can bring to a defensive line, especially, with the 2 edge rushers I was just highlighting, with the Alex Wright, a guy that you could throw in rotation, and the Taven Bryant. Taven Bryant 6'6", like 280, 290, or he might be like 300. Bro, he's a big body. Okay, Taven Bryant, what's that? 297, 291. But he a big body down there, bro. They say he's 6'4". Even still, Perrion Winfrey 6'4". You know what I'm saying? Jadeveon Clowney 6'5". Myles Garrett 6'4". Okay, so you got all these meaty guys down there. That's gonna help out a lot, bro. But Perrion in between them could really wreak a lot of havoc. If these 4 guys, Taven, Perrion, Myles, and Jadeveon are the starters, I get Super Bowl run, New York Giant vibes, from what they have, man. I'm really big on them. I ain't gonna lie. So outside of Perrion, this rookie here, right, that we also took in the 4th round. And it's interesting when we talk about this 4th round because it is possible that these 2 players that was picked in this 4th round were at the most needy positions on our whole roster. Like if we needed 2 things on this roster, it was literally these 2 players. And they are prime or in a position to be the most impactful rookies of this year. But, they could become stars in their own right as well and not even just push the envelope for the team, but they could become like real legit stars in this league. And this next 4th round pick I'm going to get to is kicker Cade York out of LSU. All right. The Browns special teams sucked. Okay. Tackling was pretty good, but returning, punting, field place kicking, it was horrible. And you know what? I might be being nice by calling it horrible. All right, because it was crazy. We lost so many games because we could not kick field goals or trust that our punter would put us in a position to where we could take advantage. It was really bad, y'all. We had Donovan Peoples-Jones returning kickoffs. Like, it was really bad. Our punter, Gilliam, just lost it. Cade York brings us a lot of hope. He is a guy who is really passionate about what he does. He's a pretty big guy, too. Cade York, like 6'1", 200 pounds, got a really strong leg. He reminds me a lot of Sebastian Janikowski. I get those type of vibes from him. Can he punt? I don't know. We'll find out. But, he is a guy, along with Perrion Winfrey, who could really change the complexion of the roster for the better. So I'm very excited to see what they do and how they perform in training camps and in the preseason games. So let's round this out with the picks, because this is something we did before, but I'm just highlighting this going into the topic of conversation for the day. Jerome Ford, running back, Cincinnati. He comes into a crowded running back room. They've made a decision on Dearness Johnson. He's coming back. It's him and Demetric Felton as basically the bottom 2 running backs. But what's interesting is we're not running with a fullback like we used to, and we may not have an extra tight end. We may only just run with 2 tight ends. With that being said, and the fact that, on a previous pod, catch one of the older couple episodes ago where I was just speaking about how many players actually are on the roster. On that offense, it's 20 guaranteed roster spots for sure, which leaves about 5 extra roster spots on the offense. All right. Will those go to Ford and Felton? Will it be offensive linemen competing? Is it an extra receiver that competes? Is it a tight end that competes? I say all 5 running backs make the roster because Jerome Ford can return. He can be impactful in a return game. Demetric Felton, they want to use, from what it seems like, they want to use as a receiver. So to have one in a return game, and one that you can use in the receiver room. That just adds to the versatility of that room. And it leaves you to be able to just run with, Chubb, Hunt, and Johnson as the backup. And I personally like that, though. I think that's cool. For a fact, Chubb and Hunt will get a bulk of the carries. Dearness Johnson is that backup for either one of them, which you don't really need a fullback for that. Deshaun Watson don't really run with a fullback. He don't need it. 2 running backs, for the fact that he's a running quarterback, it all helps out. But that's going to be good. Mike Woods, receiver we took in the 6th round out of Oklahoma. I believe it's Mike Woods the second. He's a guy I favor too. I really think Mike Woods is going to find a way to make this roster. I think he's going to definitely show out in training camp and in the preseason. And he's a guy I hope we really keep. He reminds me a lot of Hollywood Higgins. I think he's a little more athletically gifted than Hollywood is. I think he may be even a little faster. But he gives me those vibes. And I like that because Hollywood Higgins was nice. And he's probably going to do good things in Carolina too. Another edge rusher that we have, Isaiah Thomas, Oklahoma. Was a teammate of Mike Woods and played on the same side of the ball as Perion Winfrey. Isaiah Thomas is a guy who could sneakily make this roster. His build at 6'5", 260 is ideally a guy that you want to probably learn from behind Jadeveon. And because of him and Alex Wright, and then a report dropped today that Tack McKinley may be coming back, is most likely coming back. It's a large possibility he's going to come back. I don't see how a guy like Chase Winovich makes the roster. I know a lot of people hound Chase. We traded Mac Wilson to get Chase, but the same reason y'all saying that, the same reason I'm saying he's not going to make it. We traded Mac Wilson to get Chase. I liked Mac Wilson, but he didn't develop the way we needed him to develop. And if Chase was all that, New England wouldn't have traded him unless they knew they was going to get him back. So I don't see where, why, and how Chase makes the roster for the final cuts. I think he's good for camp and pushing guys and helping guys, learn how to play like a professional and things like that. But he ain't making it, man, because this guy right here, he's probably going to show out in the preseason game. I'm definitely watching him. And then last pick for us was a center out of Texas Tech named Dawson Deaton. I think Dawson Deaton is going to end up being a guard. I don't think he's a center. I think he's a guard. He's the guy that's probably going to play behind Wyatt Teller. A guy that's going to be some type of replacement for Chris Hubbard. But we're going to see what he's going to do. Now, outside of the rookies we picked, we brought in quite a few rookies on the undrafted side. Let me actually name all these guys. Yeah, my fault, y'all. I thought I had, you know how you think you did something, but you didn't actually follow through with it. That was kind of my fault right there. So on the undrafted side, all right, I'm getting to bring this up right now. This is who we got. Who we got. All right. So safety, D'Anthony Bell from West Florida. All right. Running 4.5 40. D'Anthony Bell had 43 solo tackles for loss in the pass breakup in his final year of college. You got Julius Falk, cornerback, Delta State. It's going to be interesting to see how he pans. I think he's still on there. They might have switched that up. We're going to see. Michael Harley Jr., 5'11", 182-pound receiver, came from Miami. Now, if you know anything about Miami always keep them fast, athletic dudes, because down here in Florida, boy, yes, I'm down here in Florida. Florida boys, I see why they run fast. As hot as it is, you got to try to outrun the heat. That'll make you pretty fast. But that's another conversation. You know what I'm saying? Mike Harley has made a little noise in training camp. I mean, in the OTAs and stuff like that. So in the mini camp. So that's been pretty good. This guy we didn't keep, Felix Harper. He got released. However, we do got Travell Harris, who's a 5'9", 185-pound receiver from Washington State. It's going to be interesting to see how he pushed the envelopes on the young guys and, you know, guys like Anthony Schwartz, Donovan People-Jones, Demetri Felton. It's going to be interesting to see how these guys push them and see what they're going to do. Brock Hoffman, inside offensive lineman from Virginia Tech. Hoffman started 46 collegiate games, 32 of them at center. It seems like he had a 3 or 4 year career. Now listen, this is interesting because, you know, remember names like Blake Hance, Drew Forbes, Michael Dunn, guys who, the Browns get undrafted, they bring them into the system. You know, at some point in the last couple of seasons, we've been having to need these guys to play. They've been able to come in and play a solid role and solid minutes for us. So maybe he pushed the envelope. We do have a need at center. Even I don't say we have a need. Because that makes it sound like it's controversy or something. I ain't saying it like that. I like Nick Harris. I like Ponchich. But if Hoffman can come in and push the envelope, hey, the more the merrier, all right? Now, this next guy is a guy that I favor, okay? Which is Silas Kevin. He's 6'3", 230. You know, he ran like a 4.6 40, got like a 39-inch vertical jump. In this last year, he had 109 tackles, 2.5 sacks, 9 tackles for loss. And he's from Coastal Carolina, okay? I personally think he is a guy that can make this team, especially in that linebacker room, especially for special teams. We need bodies on that special teams unit, which is, I feel like, who the last 3 slots is going to. I mean, the last 9. They going to guys to fill up for the special teams roster because, I mean, the Browns got 20 guys on offense and 20 guys on defense. That's enough, all right? You need a special teams team, though. And that special teams team, that specified unit, has to be guys that help you in other areas of the game when we're not kicking off or defending kickoffs or punting or defending punts or kicking field goals or whatever, or punt, whatever the case. We need guys that can come in and give our stars a spin, all right? And I'm not talking about, maybe some of the draft picks be those guys. Maybe it's a Isaiah Thomas who fills that role, in certain respect. Maybe a Martin Emerson might do it sometimes. Maybe a Michael Woods might do it sometimes. All right, but, this with these undrafted guys you're bringing them in for, too. Because ultimately, you want young guys still learning how to play the game and learning your system to be playing on special teams. You don't really want guys that's been in your system 3, 4, 5 years to still be playing special teams because that kind of says like they haven't developed. All right, and I think the Browns have a pretty good developmental system right. So next who they brought in is Sean Jolly from Appalachian State, 5'9", 175 pounds. He's a guy that finished last season with 22 solo tackles, an interception, and 5 pass breakups. Maybe he's coming in to put some pressure on. I don't know, because that defensive room's so crowded. I think he's just a body. Maybe he's just getting his chance to showcase his talents for another team. But, knock on wood, unless something drastic happen, boy, he ain't, this is only shine time. We got Glenn Logan, who's a defensive tackle from LSU. Now, Glenn Logan kind of remind me of Jordan Elliott a little bit. I think they're kind of the same player. So maybe Glenn is here to push him. Maybe Glenn is here to showcase his talent. I don't know. It's kind of hard for me to see him making a team. But stranger things have happened, y'all. Stranger things have happened, okay? Stranger things have happened. So we also brought in Zaire Mitchell-Payton, a tight end from Florida Atlantic, 6'4", 257, played at Notre Dame College in Ohio before transferring to Florida Atlantic. 2019 season had one of his biggest impacts, 573 yards on 53 catches and 6 touchdowns. Let's see. That tight end room pretty stacked. Just with the 2 guys we got. Not saying the more the merry is not a thing, or that Kevin Stefanski may not want it, but like I say, those 9 spots that's left, they gotta be for guys that can not only play solid special teams and help out, but guys that you can come in and spell, your main guys at certain positions in certain parts of the game. And them guys ain't gonna drop off too much. You know what I'm saying? But we gonna see. Roderick Perry. All right, guy from Illinois, defensive tackle, 6'2", 315 pounds. Was out South Carolina State before he transferred to Illinois. 14 out of 17 games with the Illini, 26 tackles, 2 sacks, 3 tackles for loss. It's going to be interesting to see. Another undrafted guy we brought in, Ben Petrula, offensive lineman, Boston College. He's 6'5", 316, and was a 5-year starter at Boston College. All right, listen. The Browns this regime has always preached competition. So, I'm not saying that these undrafted guys about to come in and really put a lot of pressure on guys that's been here trying to do their thing for a minute. But we can't rule it out, bruh. The players coming into the league now are more experienced, so it ain't like your football career gonna last 15, 20 years. Only the special ones do it. The average football career is anywhere from 3 to 8 years. All right, and that's enough for you to, do 3 to 8 Pro Bowls or something like that. So, we'll see how that rolls out. But the offensive line competition should be really good this year, and that's interesting too because we have one of the top lines. So it's not like these guys not learning from experienced guys. And let's see how that helps the whole. Malik Smith, tight end from Fisk, who's the brother of Tyreek Smith. Interesting enough. So let's see, because Tyreek went to Seattle, which I think he's going to do well over there. But Malik here, let's see what Malik do. Maybe Malik could be that guy. He was a basketball player. Usually when them basketball players become tight ends, they become really, really good. So let's see how that works. And I think Tyreek from the city too, right? He a Heights boy, right?
Heights boys right there, man. That's them Heights boys.
Yeah, I was about to say.
Yeah, they're originally from California, but they moved to the Heights.
Yeah, man. I actually called a Tyreek Smith game when he was in high school.
I got hella footage of Reek.
Yeah. So as they say in the street sports, we be in the trenches. You know what I'm saying? You hear Hollywood back there, he be in them trenches. You feel me? One of the most talked about undrafted guys that we brought in because of his build and skill set is Isaiah Weston, a wide receiver from Northern Iowa, 6'4", 210 pounds. He caught 37 passes for 883 yards and 5 touchdowns last season. He had a broad jump of 11 feet, runs a 4.2 40. Listen, Weston, one of them guys who could fuck around and become a Josh Gordon. That's without the off the field stuff. Just on the field, he could become a Josh Gordon. And it's going to be interesting to see how him and Anthony Schwartz play together, because if both of those two make the roster, and you could do something like put both of those speedy guys on the outside and throw Amari Cooper in the slot in certain situations. Listen, you think the Browns hard to guard now? They about to be terrible. They about to be crucial with the rest of this, boy. I'm trying to tell you. So, I highlighted the rookies that we drafted and the undrafted guys that we brought in, just to get up to this training camp thing, where everything comes to a head now. I mean, we spent months, last 4, 5 months, 6 months, talking about what the Browns could do and what they should do, and analyzing and evaluating all the moves they made and the people they brought in and the moves they didn't make. And now we're about to see it all get on the field. We're about to check it all out, all right? Training camp is among us. Just going to the training camp, let me highlight this again. What I'm looking for out of the team is how they build off the chemistry and foundation they already have. I want to see how our play callers on both sides of the ball, offense and defense, how they utilize the personnel, how they're playing matchup football, and the matchup football and disadvantage football. What I mean by matchup and disadvantage is when you see that you got somebody on that offense that you can take advantage of, or on the defense from the offensive side that you can take advantage of, run that shit into the ground so they stop it. If you got something on the defense, if you know that, okay, they doubling Miles, so Jadeveon getting free run at the quarterback and he might get 12 sacks this game, then keep doing that shit until they stop it. All right? I want to see them play bully ball. I want to see them be aggressive. We have too many stars with the right amount of role players or support players for the Browns to really be able to come out here and do damage. So I really want to see our star players be put in position to make star plays on a consistent basis. That's what I want to see. I want to see how these undrafted guys is going to push the rookie guys and how they going to push all the guys still trying to solidify their spots long term. All right. Guys like DPJ and Schwartz. Let's see what type of pressure they get put on. Guys like Togia and Jordan Elliott. Let's see what type of pressure they get put on them. A guy like Taki Taki. Let's see how much pressure getting put on him. Maybe even a Greedy Williams. Let's see how much pressure getting put on him. Let's see if they can stand up to that. But I'm definitely excited about training camp and the rookies and the competition. And I think I'm about to call my cousin and we about to find a way to go to Jacksonville for the game. Now, before I get ready to end this off, we got to talk Cleveland Cavaliers. All right? There's no way I can end this without talking about the Cleveland Cavaliers. And as it stands, their summer league is over. My fault, y'all. The computers be doing their own thing. Summer league has been interesting for the Cavs. For one, this how they build their charge team. And as you see, you get a little glimpse of how their development system is doing. Right? So they played 4 games. They went 2-2 for the season, for the summer league season. Now, I'm gonna tell you what was interesting about this summer league season. For one, the Cavs didn't have really no guards on this roster. All right, they literally had 3 guards on this roster because I don't really consider Ocha a guard, even though during this summer league I could see why he could be perceived as a guard, for sure. But it was certain guys on this roster that really stood out to me, and I really hope they stay on the charge squad. All right, we know Abaji, he's on the roster. Ain't no doubt about that. All right. But I like Ashton Higgins as a defensive point guard who can facilitate. He really impressed me. RJ Nembhard played really good. And for the most part, he impressed me too. But RJ Nembhard is a 2 guard, and he didn't show me no type of ability to really facilitate or make good passes on a consistent basis. However, though, I did like his tenacity. I liked his aggression. Luke Travers. Luke Travers might have made a case not to go overseas for a year. But I like it that he goes overseas for a year because next year, multiple guys' contracts will be off of the books, and we can just bring him and have a spot for him without having to do all that extra movement and stuff. But he is going to be a special player. And I hope he stays with the Cavs for a long time because he's going to be impactful. Cam Young, I like his game. He seems like a guy who's got a little handle. He can get above the rim. He can shoot. He can play pretty good defense for his length. He definitely showed me something. Malik Osborne, he impressed me too. Is a guy who could spot up off the pick and pop, spot up from the 3. A guy who has a nose for getting rebounds, likes to play around the rim, will bang. I like Malik Osborne. Isaiah Mobley. Now, Isaiah Mobley showed me a little something. Isaiah Mobley showed me that, for one, he's going to play whatever role you ask him to play. And I think it's been underplayed or undervalued how in this summer league he played center, point guard, and wing. He was literally grabbing rebounds coming down and facilitating the offense. There were even times where they were running the offense through him in a half-court set. He really, for his size, he held his own down there against a lot of big boys. And I liked that. It makes me think, it's a lot of pressure on Dean Wade to perform this coming up on this preseason for them. Which preseason for basketball ain't gonna start till like September. Okay, so September, October. So we got time for that. In between this time, they're gonna link up, they're gonna be practicing. I think that basketball players are able to go to the facilities starting the end of August, first week of September, I think that is. But it was, listen, the Cavs only went 2-2. They could have went 3-1. They definitely could have went 4-0. But it's a few things they need to be going on. I thought Isaac Okoro should have played in the summer league. Personally, I thought Evan Mobley should have played a little bit in the summer league. I would have liked to see Dean Wade or at least Lamar Stevens. I would have liked to see one of them in the summer league. And I think it should have been an emphasis on trying to win the summer league trophy. If you're changing the culture and you want these guys to play to win, then these guys should be playing to win all the time. You know what I'm saying? That shit is infectious. It doesn't matter if we play in a little league team or whatever the case. We always play to win. You know what I mean? Which leads us to Colin Sexton. All right. Hey, Kobe Altman, man, stop playing with my motherfucking emotions, bro. You know what I'm saying? I did a lot of taking up for you and shit. Like, I fucks with you. You my homie, Kobe. JB, I fucks with you too. But, bro, if y'all don't get Colin signed and get his contract together, man, we is about to have a really big problem, okay? There is no way on God's green earth that Anthony Simons in Portland got $25 million a year, that Keldon Johnson from the Spurs got $20 million a year. DeAndre Ayton got 4 years, $133 million, and you can't pay Colin at least $20 million a year? Yeah, we not doing that, bro. Kobe, this will be a historical mistake if you don't lock Colin Sexton in at the right price. All right? You pay Darius Garland. There's no way you pay Garland and you don't pay Sexton. All right? Even if you're telling me, hey, you know, we want to bring Sexton off the bench, that's fine. Kevin Love made $30 million come off the bench. So you cannot tell me that it's impossible or it's fucked up if you pay Colin $26 million to come off the bench. You're giving Darius Garland $40 million a year. There's no way you can make me believe that Darius Garland's game is $15 to $20 million more than Colin Sexton's game. There's no way you're going to make me believe that. There's no numbers to support that shit. All right? So, Kobe, get it done, bro. Colin even gave you all a discount, bro. He said he just want to make at least $80 million. That's a steal. Colin should be getting well over 100.
Right, and I'm hearing they far off. I'm hearing they weren't trying to give him that. Like a few days ago when they was talking about Colin they made a price what they want, they was talking about they far away and shit. So I'm like, man, Colin that motherfucking A tripping.
Man, that's Dan Gilbert ass. And I'm going to tell y'all why I say it's Dan Gilbert. Dan Gilbert don't mind paying the luxury tax, but he don't want to pay the luxury tax unless we already compete. Now, from an owner standpoint, I cannot knock those sentiments. I think he's legitimate in those feelings, but I don't think it's realistic, okay? You're paying Kevin Love $30 million. I haven't heard y'all talk about a restructure, extension, or none of that. So in my mind, you want to let Karras, Chetty, and Love contracts come off the books. Now, if let's just say Colin plays on the qualifying offer and he plays the whole year and he wins $6 million of the year or some shit like that, the Cavs will be in a better financial position to keep him and it not hurt them next year than they will be this year. But I gotta, as much as I'm on the organization's back, I have to fault Colin Sexton to a degree too. Because last offseason, they offered Colin $25 million a year, and he didn't want it. He wanted $30. I didn't knock him for wanting $30, but now we fast forward to right now, and he'd have took that contract, and it wouldn't have hurt him.
I'm hearing because he got different. I think he got different agents since that last time. So I'm hearing it'll have something to do with the agent as far as the money type shit.
Oh,
because
that's why he switched agents.
I think so.
So if that's the case, then I'm right back on the Cavs back then. Because, bro, if you offer him 25, they gave him 25. You know what I'm saying? But listen, I will give Kobe credit because it's been guys that we thought was going to walk, and he's been able to keep them.
Yeah,
The
Kobe
guys
not
that we,
man. I rock with Kobe, man. I'm fighting with Kobe.
you know what I'm saying? So Kobe probably might do the right thing and bring things together. So we still looking out for that though. You know, Deshaun Watson, his verdict could come sometime next week. Right, his training camp getting started and things like that. You know, and we gonna see what's gonna happen with Sexton, man. And as far as the Guardians go, look, the Guardians got a nice young team right now. It seems like we got two players in the All-Star game right now, Andre Jimenez and Andres Jimenez and Jose Ramirez. We got a nice squad,
I think
bro.
somebody else just. I'm about to go check, but I think somebody else might have made it. I'm about to find out.
Oh, that'd be raw if we got one of the pitchers in. You know what I'm saying? But and we just brought up Nolan Jones, who I think is going to be a big impact on this team. And like I say, man, shouts to Tito, man, for forcing the Indians. Oh, I'm sorry, I keep saying the Indians. I'm sorry for forcing the Guardians to try to start using they farm system, bro. We got one of the best farm systems in the country, and it had it for years, for decades. We should be up there doing our thing. How long? Who gonna come with this information right quick?
No, I think that was just Andres.
Jimenez.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I thought they said it was somebody else, but I guess not.
That's cool. Look, hopefully we get a year where we get like 5 players in the All-Star game. Look, we need that.
Man,
But with that being said, y'all, it's been a pleasure rocking with y'all. We gonna come back. We gonna come back soon, man. Right now, I got some little studying and doing stuff like that. But man, pleasure rocking with y'all. Make sure y'all subscribe, like, share, give your feedback. When you see me streaming, you see the link, go ahead, hit the link, come on up, chop it up, say your thoughts. You know what I mean? It's always a pleasure. I appreciate y'all rocking with us, you know what I'm saying, and keeping our views up, man. So I'm DeeTrynt. This is Game Changer Sports Talk on Industry Sports. Like I say, please like, subscribe, share, follow us on all social media platforms. Catch us on multiple streaming platforms, Spotify, Anchor, Google Podcasts, Radio Public, and there so on. But it's been a pleasure. Y'all be safe. Behave yourselves, love your family, you know what I'm saying? You know, keep your loved ones together, man. We're gonna rock with y'all later. One.